Target acquired. Sending round. Kaboom. I live in my scope. What's up, my modern day ninjas? Falchion back with you again. And today, special treat. Got a special guest. Why don't you introduce yourself? Tell them what you do.
Hey, modern day ninjas. It's GKMSTR NYC of GSA.
And what is your role in GSA?
Well, I was once upon a time so dubbed Mr. Info by you until you took that moniker away because I took a little hiatus.
Well, I'm thinking with what you got for me today, it might have to be reinstated. So why don't you just go ahead and why don't we go ahead and jump into it and tell people what you've got?
All right. Well, today Microsoft officially released the release date for the Xbox One as November 22nd in the U.S. and 12 other regions.
Okay, so in these, what, I guess 13 regions total, it's releasing on the same day?
Correct.
Okay, that's
and then the other 9 regions, I believe it is, or 8, is going to be released. They have to wait till 2014. Bummer.
That hurts for sure. But let's stick with the good news then. So the 22nd that's a full week after Sony's release of the PlayStation 4, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct. PlayStation 4's release date is the 15th of November, and that is a Friday. And the Xbox release is going to be the following Friday after. Don't understand why they're doing it behind Sony, that they've had all of this time. But that's what they're choosing to do.
Now, are you seeing this as a mistake, this releasing it behind Sony?
I don't see it as such a big mistake, but yes, I do think it's a mistake. I mean, I'm an Xbox gamer. I want to get my hands on it. And we both decidedly said we were going to get the Xbox first. So, them being a week apart, it makes the choice of some consideration.
Right. Well, I was lucky enough to set mine up so that I pre-ordered both, so I'm locked into both. I don't know. I think it's a pretty significant mistake. I mean, not a life or death mistake, but I think it's a pretty significant mistake that they're waiting until after Sony releases the PS4. Whatever releases first is always going to be a little bit stronger. Now, it's only a week, so it's not that big of a deal, but with all the mistakes surrounding the Xbox One that Microsoft has made, and I mean, I'm not a fanboy of either system. I like them both equally, but I do recognize that Microsoft has made some mistakes with how they've gone about this whole release thing, and just not providing enough information for what they were planning. I think they just assumed everybody understood what was going on, and then when it came out that that nobody understood it, or very few people understood it, then instead of clearing that up, they just made the changes that everybody was saying that they wanted. But a week later is as I understand it, the 22nd, if I remember correctly, is the same day that the Xbox 360 released. Do you think that that's what this is all about? Trying to, like, some superstitious thing with Microsoft?
Well, that's how I feel that they're spinning it, because it was mentioned, and they did say that, the 22nd was a good luck day for them, and, so that, they're doing it out of some sense of nostalgia, I guess you want to call it. But I don't see the previous success of the 360, especially when you're talking about it was a year ahead of the PS3 at that time. And so that doesn't play out the same way now.
Right.
I'm not a fanboy either. I come off as a fanboy in some instances, but I'm really not, because I've always had the amenity of having, all of the multiple systems from whichever generation. And I think that's a necessity for me now as well. But it's just, why make the... You had the amenity of having the last announcement. So if you have your choice of dates, I don't see why you would put yourself, behind their release date, especially with all the negative press that Microsoft created for themselves.
Right. And what about, like, everything, all the new next-gen games seem to be releasing on the 5th, like specifically something like Call of Duty Ghost is releasing on the 5th. So why wouldn't they release on the 5th with those games? So they'd be coming out with those games as well as ahead of or before Sony.
Why would they not? I don't understand it, because I would have thought that they would have done a coordinated effort, exactly for why you said, if the games are releasing on the 5th, let's put the systems, the games, let's put it all out together, and let people vote with their purchasing dollar. And they didn't do it, which to me just... But then you know how they speak of it. It's always the launch window, which, they leave room. Everything can't all be done on the same day, or they wouldn't want to do everything on the same day.
Yeah, and I can understand that as far as games go. Like, you don't want to necessarily release your game alongside another big name title, but this is a system. I mean, I am of the opinion, and I may be wrong here, and it may be only my opinion, but I am of the opinion that people are by nature impatient, right? So you have your Sony fanboys, and they're getting the PS4, and that's it. I mean, I know my fair share of Sony fanboys, and there's nothing wrong with that. If that's the system you love or whatever, I think fanboys on both sides can tone it down, like, and not go and stop trying to go to war over these consoles with one another, because they're online and they're threatening each other's lives and just spewing all this hatred, and they're not getting paid. I mean, neither of these companies are paying them anything for this. It's, you like what you like, state why you like it, and that's it. But like I was saying though before I got off track, I am of the opinion that people by nature are impatient, and so if you're a Sony guy, then you're getting the PlayStation. It doesn't matter. If you're a Microsoft guy, you're getting an Xbox. It doesn't matter. This is for all those people that are on the fence. This is about them, to me. So,
right.
You're trying to figure out, okay, both systems are, in today's market, or in today's economy, fairly expensive. So, if you can only have one or the other, Sony already has the advantage of being less expensive. People are saying cheaper, and to me that's the incorrect word. Cheap denotes less or inferior. It's less.
Quality, right?
Yeah, it's less expensive by, what was it, $100, right?
Yes.
Um, so that's already an advantage for Sony. And then, so now you're giving them this other advantage of letting them come out even a week in advance. I mean, a week is not that big of a time span, granted, but for those people, to me, that are on the fence, a week is like, okay, I can have this brand new system a week ahead of the other one. You know, like, I don't have to wait a week. I'm going to be able to play most of the same games. You know, I mean, of course, each system has their exclusive titles, but for the most part, same games, you know. So why if you had the luxury, the good fortune of Sony announcing their release date first, why wouldn't you counter that with a better release date, or a release date that's sooner? I don't get it. I mean, do you have any explanation from a tech perspective?
I think they went with branding, November 22nd, you know, being their window for a launch. I think it just came down to, if it was going to be that close, it didn't matter to them, and they didn't feel that it, obviously they don't feel that it does them a disservice as much as I do. See, my feelings are that if you have one bucket of money for a system purchase at that time, and if you're on the fence, I think some people are going to just take whatever's first, and then, you know, they'll wait out all of the sellouts and hardware features, and if those restocks are not easily accessible before Christmas, before, you know, because this is the holiday window, you know, they may find that they're going to be fighting an uphill battle for market share again. And I thought that if they had come out first, that would have done the reverse in their favor. You know, if people only had one pool of money and they said, well, we're going to get whatever it is, then I thought that that would have been beneficial to have theirs available first. And now I'm scratching my head going, okay, you chose to go afterwards. For me, I'm going to get the Xbox first because I seem to have a better experience with Xbox and their games. But it was a toss-up because I was going, should I? Because I remember we had the conversation about, okay, if they were a month apart or more than a month apart, then we would take whichever first, and then we would be able to get to the second one.
Right.
But I'm going to go, because they're only a week apart, I am going to cast, you know, my purchasing ballot on the one. I'm going to bite blood out my lip and wait that week. Watching everybody come home with those shiny boxes, even though I do have it on reserved at Best Buy, both of them.
So you're gonna forego your reserve for the PlayStation, is what you're saying?
Yes. Because at that moment I will only have the money to buy one system. So I'm gonna wait for the Xbox and then see when I get the money again, you know, if there's some to be found. Some PlayStations to be found at that time.
Well, let me ask you a question. I have come across some interesting information myself that may help you out. So you already have the money ready to go for your Xbox, yeah?
Yes.
Now, we've already established that you're my tech guy. I pretty much come to you with for everything regarding like technical information, which includes and even tends to be more often phones, cell phones,
Right.
right?
Yes.
Do you have a lot of cell phones, old cell phones that you're no longer using?
Yes, I do.
Uh, Relatively new, would you say? Like within the past, say, 3 years? Released within the past 3 years, say?
Yes.
So, okay, so here's the deal. I'm not a rich person by any means, right?
Right.
But, luckily enough, excuse me, GameStop is taking in phones now. I don't know if you knew that or not. And,
Yes.
so you can either trade them in for store credit or what have you, or trade them in for less cash. And so that's how I plan on paying off my Xbox. I have older phones, and also I have a certificate that I won from GameStop that's going to give me 50% more than what they would normally pay for the phones. So that's what I'm going to do to pay off my one. Okay. But I recently saw a commercial, and this is what I'm saying might interest you, that Best Buy is doing the same thing. Have you heard that?
No.
So you can take your old cell phones, trade them into Best Buy for a Best Buy gift card or whatever for your towards any next purchase that you want at Best Buy. And it's pretty comparable to what GameStop is doing, and two cell phones, two HTC ones, because my wife and I are switching companies here soon when our contract runs out. So it's just dumb luck, really, that hey, we can get rid of these phones and that we're not going to be using anyways, and put it towards this Xbox. And so, but my HTC One from T-Mobile is going to be worth $130 to store credit at GameStop, and my wife looked at it at Best Buy, and it was pretty much the same. I think it was like $1 less or something, so 129 or something. But I know you used to be, and this is the thing now, but you used to be this big iPhone guy, and then you changed. So do you still have your
Yes.
old iPhones?
Yes, I do.
And see, they're worth even more. Like, that's where all the big money is on these trades. So you may be interested, maybe not. You may want to hold on to it for whatever reason, I don't know. But you may be interested into looking into that, because that may be a way you could have both systems at the launch, at both of their launch. Because that's the way I'm doing it. Like, I'm just gonna, I got my reserve for the PlayStation at Best Buy as well. Unfortunately, I have to travel up to Maryland from Virginia to do that. So I'm gonna be riding like 3.5 hours to get a PlayStation. But it's, I think it's gonna be worth it. It's gonna be a great system. The Xbox One is gonna be a great system. You know, um, but I don't know. So if you're, I mean, I don't know if you're interested in that, but you may want to check into that if you're looking to get both on the launch day. It's a way to get rid of something you're not using anyways, and get something that you really want. You know.
Yeah, I don't know that I say that I don't use them. I use like all of the technology my children, we use them as alternatives to killing the batteries on our cell phones. We play like most of the games on the older units.
I see.
My
I
house
see.
is my house is Wi-Fi enabled, and I have multiple zones of Wi-Fi running, so that the children they have coverage everywhere. So they take my old units and they play games. Their mother, I have a Galaxy Note, the first Galaxy Note, Samsung Galaxy Note, that she uses as her personal gaming machine when she gets home from work. And, then she puts her cell phone to charge, and she walks around with her Bluetooth earpiece, but she's able to play games on the Note. I have also a Motorola HD Atrix that we use, and the kids use the iPhones as their game systems. So everybody's got something that they use, and then I even have the Samsung tablet that I use as a secondary screen, for different things. And
Right.
so, like, I watch most of my videos on the tablet screen, and I have stands for it that I carry around, and I just stick it down, and I'm watching videos there while I'm doing computing. And Mimi often comes in and laughs at me because I'll have a video going on this. I'll be talking to you on my cell phone while I'm typing on the computer, while I'm playing on the Xbox.
Right.
So
Right.
it's a whole number of secondary screen options, which I'm glad that Microsoft is leveraging as their second screen with glass, smart glass. They're using it as a secondary screen.
Yeah, I can't wait to see them get more into that. I use smart glass on my iPad now, and even on my HTC One to a much lesser degree, of course. But yeah, I guess so. For you, it really doesn't make sense to trade it in. But I guess anybody else out there that may be listening, that's an option you guys may want to look into if you have older cell phones or whatever. I mean, the older you get, of course, the less valuable they are, but every little bit helps. But
I have shoeboxes full of technology, and I am going to be looking into the value of what I have. Because that may actually be an option. I may be willing to trade some of it off to have both systems at launch. So
yeah.
it is something good to know that's available. Best Buy, and I'm going to look at GameStop, and like you did, I'm going to see who has the better price, as well as looking at Gazelle, which Gazelle.com is also another place that they allow you to resell your old technology back to them.
Yeah, they seem to really well. I've only seen them as far as their commercials go, and they seem to be just focused on the iPhones. So
No, it's very broad in what what Gazelle will buy from you.
so I guess I will have to look into that as well. See if maybe there's a better deal there, because it's definitely enough to, from what I've put on reserve and already paid into the Xbox, and then the phones are definitely enough to put me over the top. And then so every little bit, that's just more games. So that's what I'm looking at now. What can I do for more games, more launch titles?
Yep. I'm on Gazelle.com right now, and I'm seeing iPhones, cell phones, iPads, tablets, MacBooks, Macs, number of different things. Sell your Samsung phone. So they do take a number of things, and it's not relegated to any one device.
Oh, that's definitely cool. So, I don't know. I guess that's about it. The Xbox One, November 22nd, 2013. How many of you guys are ready for it? You got anything else for the people there, Geek?
No, I'm just waiting. I'm ready to get on the Xbox One and see how that changes gameplay. I've been watching so much media on a number of different games. You know, I think we'll touch on what games we're looking for in a different commentary.
Definitely that. Well, thanks for joining me in this, and as always, thanks for the information.
Thank you for having me.
Any shout-outs? Anything you want the people to know? Anywhere they can check you out?
Other than gsa.clangrid.com, I can also be found at Radar0107 on Twitter. And I'm looking forward to killing Echo Evan and Mr. Boney 525. That's their names on. That's their names on the Xbox. My kids.
All right. So then for Geek Masters, Falchion, and I'm Go.